Hello guys, this is a follow-up video from my last one talking about the Beast Essence and Deli farming strategy. And today I want to talk about the frog spawn rate, the Sextant price increase, and when it's better to run without it, and finally to address some of the FAQ at the end. I have done an extra over 250 maps and have some preliminary stats about the frogs and updated currency per hour. As you can see, I made some extra 170 divines in those 250 maps, and that was in around 6 hours. Also, I'm running these maps in 1.5 minutes after I got the mage blood and did a change in the tree. So with all of that, I got around 24 divines per hour instead of the 35 divines from my last video. However, I think that this time I have been in the other side of the spectrum where I got actually unlucky with the frog spawns, but I decreased the map time by making some changes in the Atlas tree, which I'm going to show you now. And I got finally 24 divines. That's pretty good, despite of the Sextant price increase and being unlucky with the spawn rates. About the frog spawn rate in those 250 maps, this is the data that I could gather. These totals one frog each around 34 maps, which again I think this is being lucky. As you can see, there are big bad strikes at the end and at the start. And in my last video I saw one frog each 12 maps, which a lot of the comments were saying that I got actually lucky, which that might be considering this new data set. So we can try to estimate a frog in the middle, which can be at around 23 to 24 maps. A disclaimer here is that this is obviously not enough data, but it's all that I got for now. Now about the Sextant price, as you might have already seen, the Sextant price went up from 15C from when I made the video to 60 to 70 approx, and you can even find offers at 100C for big bulks. First, the main reason for that happening is because the copy beast Sextant is actually rare to get. So we search for the Sextant in the POE DB. As you can see, the Sextant has 50 weighting, which is very low. It's actually the minimum weighting for all the Sextants. And now we can compare, for example, this with our expensive Sextant. For example, the 8-mode map, which is also 50. Then we have the Guardian Sextant map. This is very expensive Sextant, which is also 50. And then we can compare with the Rage one, which is 5 times more common, and this is also an expensive Sextant, very used in the current strategies, in the current meta. So as you can see, the Sextant is actually rare, and that's why it's so sensitive with the offer and the demand. So this arises the question of what's the price that I should stop buying the Sextant to start running the strategy without it. So this is why I made some calculations here. We have two main premises here, and first is that the Sextant adds 4 extra divines when you see a frog. The Sextant is not giving you 8 divines actually, because the frog without being duplicated is already 4 divines, so the Sextant is actually adding 4 extra divines to those 4 divines initially. And then that we estimate that we see a frog each 24 maps, and that's the number that we got in the previous section. So this is the equation that I came out with. We have here the beast price in divine, so that's why we have to multiply by the divine price. And here we have the Sextant price, that's usually in chaos, so that's why I are here in chaos. And this is the final formula. And if you consider the divines at 215C, that's the current price at the time of this video, and the beasts are 4 divines, so we get the final result of 143 chaos max that we have to pay to not start losing money for the Sextant. So I made the calculations here and I graphed these two functions, and as you can see, the number exactly collides or intersects in around 143. And considering that we have a better spawn rate in wide maps, I wouldn't even bother with the Sextant for the trading and all of that if it is over 100C. Okay, so in conclusion, if you see the offers here that's over 100C, I wouldn't bother getting them, and I would try to get them as close as, well, as cheap as you can, of course, and I would get them closer to 50 chaos to have some good profits for the strategy. And finally, some frequently asked questions that I saw in the comments from my last video. So first, about the menagerie. I don't manage the menagerie at all. I never clean it. I let the beasts to override with each other. And what I do is to take the frogs as soon as I see them. I don't do this for the other beasts. For example, if I see a spider and the spider gets overridden, I don't care. It can happen. That's 2025C. I'm only paying attention to the frogs, and that's the one that I care the most. Second, there's a lot of RNG involved in strategy, and I have seen some of you that told me that you didn't find a frog in 100 maps, in 70 maps, and I have to tell you that yes, there is an RNG involved in the strategy, and you can either see 2 frogs in a map or you can see 1 in 50 maps. That's completely normal. As you saw in my own data, I run 72 maps without seeing a frog. And my advice here is to keep doing these maps because you won't be losing currency because you are farming essences and Deli orbs, and you can't be unlucky forever. So the frogs are going to appear sooner or later, and that will compensate with more maps you do. So my advice again is to keep running these maps, and you will eventually find these 4 or 8 divine frogs. So this is how I check my beast. I press H and then go to the bestiary and then go to the capture beast. As you can see, I have it full with all beasts that I don't care. And here in the filter beast, in the search box, I put this huge text that this is a regex that will only highlight beasts that we care. So for example, I have a frog here, and if I use it, I'm adding it into my menagerie. And now if I press H, I go to the bestiary tab and I add the text. I'm going to see it highlighted here using this regex. So I just take it out, and that's basically it. And finally, if you can buy the sextants, I will do the same using the tier 2 and tier 3 strand without the stones. So if you go in game here, what I would do without the sextant is to remove all the watchstones, okay? And we are going to start ping pong with fields map and strand map as tier 2 and tier 3 map. This way you will get a higher spawn rate for the frogs, since this is a lower tier map in white maps, and we cannot get other beasts that we can get in yellow maps. That's strand in tier 6. But in the other hand, you won't have the copy beast sextant, so you're going to definitely get less currency per hour, but you still can do this strategy in lower tier maps, okay?